When we couldn't form a girls' team, I didn't want to give up soccer, so I decided to play with the boys. My name is Kayla and I'm a proud Lansvale United Soccer player. I was never really into team sports because I was really shy. I gave soccer a try and I really enjoyed playing in a team.
So when Kayla started playing, I was a bit nervous because she was quite shy, but it's been great. She's got more confidence, she's making friends out of school, she's off the iPad and she's learning how to deal with boys.
I've really enjoyed seeing Kayla transform at the club. She's one of the school leaders and I can see her communication skills getting better through football. She doesn't care what they say, she's now one of the boys and doesn't want to be treated differently. It's wonderful to see that resilience.
Love that story, love that smile as well. Welcome back to the weekly kickoff. We've got a special guest, Sarah Walsh, on the panel with us. Now, you scored over 30 goals for your country.
30?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As if you did.
You probably short.
You've probably got an exact number in there, don't you?
I don't actually.
Tell us about your role in football now and this Football Unites program as well, because it's put a smile on that young girl's face big time.
Yeah, well, Football Australia have kind of been leading this football social cohesion campaign, but we are hosting the Women's Asian Cup in 26. 1st of March we kick off, but it really is an opportunity for us, you know, just like young Kayla there, and you know, there's multiple clubs that are really leading the way, particularly in Western Sydney and where we'll be hosting matches. But where football is the great leveller for our communities, it creates that social cohesion, and there's an additional layer and challenge for young girls from cold communities. You know, they've got to not only you know, overcome the cultural challenges in being able to play, but the social barriers that most women and girls face in, you know, body image and confidence, which we just saw. And so Women's Asian Cup for us is a real opportunity to use that as a platform to deliver legacy outcomes, which is more girls and women playing the game.
Or not to make you anxious, Walsh, but 298 days away, the Asian Cup, the countdown is well and truly on. And we saw the FIFA World Cup here in Australia a couple of years ago, and now we've got another opportunity for a major tournament. The contrast of the two kind of tournaments, are you expecting a similar sort of response to the Asian Cup next year? Yeah, I am,
and a different one. I think, you know, what we just saw, and it's basically, you know, I think, you know, building off what happened in 2015, the Men's Asian Cup, in a really different way. The world's, well, Australia's, you know, been woken up to football here. It really is the world game. I was in Saudi on the weekend. There's really no game that really starts to bring, you know, powerful conversations and you know, where we can talk about our divisions and actually move forward. And for us, the Women's Asian Cup is going to be, you know, one of celebration of our Asian heritage here in Australia. There's by 26, there'll be 6.5 million Australians that have ancestry from one of the 47 nations in the AFC. Wow. We are the most multicultural nation within those 47 countries, and so naturally, you know, you saw little Kayla, she has 2 teams. Well, actually, there's multiple families in Australia that have more than 2 teams where they celebrate more than one culture. They speak more than 1 or 2 languages. Yeah. The Asian Cup gets to bring that together by, you know, attendance, but the festivities that will be celebrated around the matches.
Bravo, Walshy, very well said. If only our public authorities would understand this more. But anyway, we keep banging the drum. Let's go back to the very start of this chat and the very essence of this whole thing, Kayla and what she represents. Now, there's PR and marketing. You can cut an ad to make anything look like you want it to look like. Yeah. I want you to tell us how representative Kayla's story is right around the country of youngsters coming into the game and having their life opened up. Yeah. How common is this?
Very common. I think what we need to do better at as a game, I mean, Football Australia is the governing body, works with the state federations. The APL has a role. Look how diverse players we've had over the years, particularly in the Women's A-League, how many Asian players we've had. So we've been, you know, these players in these communities have been represented within the game. Have we fully included these communities? Have we changed the structures of our games, our community clubs? Probably not. We've got a long way to go in making sure that we are truly inclusive as a game, whether that be at the federated level, the Matildas national teams. I mean, that by its very nature, we have quite diverse national teams all the way from Matildas, Socceroos down to our futsal teams. But, you know, what does that look like at a grassroots level? And we have this opportunity to really interrogate that over the next 11 months and make sure we leave something different. But, you know, the communities are running their clubs, and I think that's the message I took from this. It's about us making sure we open up space and think differently about how we run community clubs to truly engage not just with girls but with boys. And the Women's World Cup, we saw that. I think we're just going to see it on a whole different scale, given the Asian, the history and the ancestry we naturally already have in this country. There's no other sport that can bring that together.
What about the Aussies as well? We saw the success of the World Cup and what it did for participation rates. I know my daughter was just frothing on that. What would it mean for the Aussies to win the Asian Cup at home, and what would that do for numbers, do you think?
Yeah, look, I just got goosebumps. I was there in 2006 when we hosted our first women. That just talks to my age, doesn't it? 2006 we hosted in Adelaide, and the numbers are, debatable, but apparently there was about 5,000. I remember a sea of red because we were playing China. When we won it in 2010 in China, in Chengdu, there were 1,200. We are preparing for a 80,000 seat final and a 60,000 seat opening. It just talks to the, the development of women's football. But yes, we don't do it for the 4 weeks. We do it for the participation. And after the Women's World Cup, we saw 11% growth in total. There was 16% growth in women and girls. We're actually sadly turning girls away, and that's a whole other conversation around facilities. But I think something that was pretty exciting, we saw 24% growth in female coaching. So this is why we host. We don't host for the 4 weeks. It's how football grows off the back of it. And seeing young boys with Sam Kerr jerseys, we affected some serious social change.
That's awesome.
That can't be undone off the back of the Women's World Cup. So we get to do it again.
And what was it, only 298 days ago?
Days. Not that anyone's counting.
Not at all.
Taking 2 days off.
Exactly. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by. We hope it all goes really well and we get those numbers going.
Thank you.
All right, we are off to a break. On the other side, we're going to talk about the Aussies abroad, including Graham Arnold coaching Iraq. But first, here's a preview of the Coppa Italia